Hi guys, and it's Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review from before the 90 days. This is season 3 episode 12, King of My Heart, and this is part 1 of my review. And today I'm going to be covering Cesar and Maria, Rebecca and Zied, and Benjamin and Akini. I am so stoked. I finally, on Saturday evening, passed my 10,000 subscribers mark. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't yet, please do so. But I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, you have finally made Ebird a very happy Ebird. I'm so glad you guys like my content, and thank you so much for all of your support. Right, so first up today, I'm going to be talking about Rebecca and Zied. So we catch up with Rebecca and she's sitting on a lonesome in the desert. As we remember last week, Zied stormed off when Rebecca finally told him that she's still in fact a married woman. Rebecca tells us, of all the different ways that I thought Zied could react, this wasn't one of them. What, so storming off wasn't one of the ways that you thought Zied could react, Rebecca? And so I thought I'd create a list of the other ways that Zied could have reacted, just to help Rebecca out. Maybe she thought he was going to stare menacingly at her, as if he wanted to murder her. We know he's done that before. Maybe he was going to threaten her, like he did with the guys in the bar, when they were staring at her tattoos. Maybe he was going to ask to borrow, no, have, some of her money. 300 dinar. Oh no, let's make it 500 dinar. Or maybe he was going to grip her round the neck and whisper menacingly in her ear, you're mine, you realise you're mine now. Maybe he was going to act like that. I think, Rebecca, that you ought to be grateful that all he did was to storm off. So Rebecca trots off to his tent to go and see him. She's nervous as she goes over, and as well she might be. She tells us, if I lose Zied, that's it. I'll never find another love like this again. Rebecca, you will? Fair enough, you've done Morocco and Tunisia, but you've still got Algeria, Libya, and even Egypt to go. You'll surely find a love like Zied's again. When she gets into his tent, she looks pleadingly at him and says, I'm so sorry. He's not having any of it, and he's growling and saying he's not interested, and he's really angry. So what does Rebecca decide to do? Just what we all decided to do when we were children. I'm going to be sick. So we hear her run out of the tent, and she goes, spits on the floor and goes in a display of acting only rivalled by Cesar's. She tells us she fears she's lost him over this. How careless, Rebecca. But you know what? Zied's quite a unit, and I think even in the desert, you'll find him sooner rather than later. Don't worry, he's not lost. And then Zied says, you know, I am man Arabic. In your country, you are divorced or no? I not like woman married. Never I do this. But Rebecca pleads with him, and she tells him, but the papers are filed. Ebird often files papers in the bin. That means nothing. And she tells him, I can't lose you. No, I really can't. No, you really can't. There's far too much of him. And he tells her he hates that she kept secret. Come on now, Zied. You've kept a few secrets in your time. You kept it secret from her that you were controlling. Oh, actually you didn't. You told her. Well, you've kept it secret that you were desperate for a green card. Wrong again. I think you did actually say, well, you kept it secret from her. Well, you kept it secret that you were upset that Rebecca looks nothing like her picture. Oh no, you told her when she arrived at the airport. I know. You kept it secret that you're a very jealous man and you can't help it and you react badly sometimes. Oh God, yeah, you told her. I'm trying to think if we did actually keep anything secret. You told her that you need her to lend you money, so that wasn't a secret. I know. You did keep one secret from her. Oh yes, that you're an unemployable, work-shy loser with no intention of getting any employment. There we go. There's a secret that you kept, Zied. But I suppose when I'm really looking at it, actually, you told us what you were the whole season. And Rebecca tells us she wants to start with exactly what she is. What's that? Oh yeah, a catfishing, married liar. And she looks pleadingly at him and she explains it's just paperwork. It's only going to take 1 more week and then we'll be divorced. Rebecca, I think this is the beginning of yet another lie. If it was only 1 week, why bother telling him? By the time your plane touches down, the paperwork will be more or less through. I think it's going to take a lot longer. And she tells us yet again she'll do anything to keep him. Rebecca, anything? Wait till you see the ring that you bought and then see if you want to keep him. And that's where Rebecca and Zied's story ends for this week. Zied is hugging Rebecca and they're kind of, I guess, back together. And when I look at Zied's face, I can just see the green card rolling and rolling around in his mind. And he knows that she's still the best chance of him getting a green card, even if he has to wait a little bit longer to get it. And it's not just that, Zied. Remember, America is the land of opportunity, and also a land with both shampoo and conditioner. And next up, we have Cesar and Maria. so we didn't see any of the story of Cesar and Maria last week. I'm reliably informed that filming with Neve and Max overran, but he's back this week with more of his rubbish. And guess what? Cesar's apparently speaking to Maria again, and to help proceedings along, she seems to have provided him with a batch of new photos. He's taking pictures of himself to send to her. It doesn't matter, she doesn't care. Cesar, just take pictures of the money you're going to send her. He's worried about his double chin. Cesar, you should be more worried about her double life. You should also worry about the vacant look on your face. He tells us that he started texting her, and she told him that she loved him, and the whole relationship started all over again. We're back together now, he says, and she tells him, I'm happy to hear your voice. Over text? Over text? How can you hear someone's voice over text? And the producers ask him how much money he's sent to her. He says around £2,000, although he doesn't know. And it's very interesting to me that he never knows exactly how much he's sent her, considering that he's living hand to mouth. He's eating ramen noodles for every meal. He's getting advance payments from his boss, but yet he doesn't know how much money he's sent her. I know, Cesar, none. Next he tells her, I know that she's not using me. She just needs a little help at the moment. And I'd like Cesar to ask these questions to Maria. Number 1, why did you break up with him? Number 2, when will I see you? When will we be getting together? Number 3, are you still tired? That's why you said you fell out with me before. If so, why? She's not as tired as I am with this storyline. Number 4, where's all the money that I've sent you? Why do you need more? And then we see Cesar go to meet up with his friend Jeremy, who I believe is the only person worth looking at or listening to in this entire storyline. Cesar tells us Jeremy's a great guy. Finally, something I can believe. And he tells Jeremy that he's working 7 days a week. He also tells him he's keeping the engagement ring because he still wants to give it to Maria. Jeremy asks him, what's different now? What are you doing now in your relationship that wasn't there before? And Jeremy tells us he thinks Maria's a liar, and once the money's gone, Maria will be gone. And Cesar tells Jeremy of a change in his plans. He said he wanted to go and see Maria in the Ukraine, but Maria said she wants to go to Cuba. Cuba? So you no longer want to go to Mexico like you asked before? Oh dear, Cesar. And he tells Jeremy he's fought to get her to the moment that their relationship is at now. What moment? It's the same as when you first met. You're not one step further forward than the day that she first catfished you. And Jeremy tells us he's the most gullible person he's ever met. He, like most of us, can't be bothered to talk it over with Cesar anymore. He knows that Cesar will continually be taken advantage of. And that's where this sorry so-called story ends. Let's see if she turns up to the tell-all. I'm guessing she won't. And finally, for part 1 of this review, we go over to Nairobi to see what Benjamin and Akini are up to. And we meet up with them where we last left off last week, in the middle of the bride price negotiation, and Akini's dad calls her in. And we see Ben worrying that it's the end of their relationship, because usually Akini's not supposed to be involved in the negotiations. Baba Akini helpfully tells us that he's brought Akini in to help Ben negotiate, and then Akini sits silently next to him, giving him no help whatsoever. Her father's got quite a pained look on his face, and it leaves me wondering, Baba Akini, are you constipated? And Ben begins, there is no value that I can put on Akini. Interesting. He wipes away the sweat once more as he looks nervously at Fidel, and he says, shall I use metaphors? And Fidel nods yes. I've got a few metaphors for you, Ben. Akini is as useful as a wooden frying pan. Akini is as useful as a concrete parachute. Akini is about as useful as a glass door on the lavatory. What about those? No. Benjamin plumps for, if a bull is worth 1,000 shillings, I have 60 bulls. 60? Fidel starts laughing at his $600, and Akini says that's embarrassing. Well then, Akini, you shouldn't have wasted his money. Remember the Airbnb? But it leaves me wondering why he's only suddenly got 60 bulls. He told us he had 80 bulls at breakfast. 20 bulls seem to have escaped in the meantime. Perhaps Fidel got hold of your credit card details. Who knows? Also, Akini, you had him waste at least a bull on all of the groceries, which are perfect for a funeral. Benjamin gives 30 bulls to Mama Akini in an envelope. He gives another 30 bulls to Baba Akini in an envelope. And although they accept the envelopes, they reject Benjamin's offer. Baba Akini says, life is very expensive. I have a feeling it's going to be for Ben from now on. But Ben explains he doesn't have any more money at the moment, but he agrees to pay more in the future months. And without talking the whys and wherefores of this phantom payment, Baba Akini finally accepts the arrangement. And he says, if you are still to pay in the days to come, then we can accept the deal. And if I were you, Ben, I'd give Baba Akini a tenner and tell him to jog on. But now the deal is done, we all know what this means. They're now married. Congratulations, Ben and Akini. And the women of the house wheel in cakes. They sing the Cut the Cake song. Come on guys, you know the Cut the Cake song. They don't write them like this anymore. Cut the cake, Benjamin cut the cake, cut the cake. Akinyi cut the cake. It was a very catchy tune, and I can't get it out of my head. Guys, the American record industry are going to have a wake-up call when Akinyi and her family get to America. I think they're going to take it by storm. All up, Jay-Z. Benjamin and Akini are coming for you. Cut the Cake is a tune. Wow, says Benjamin. Oh gosh, I just can't believe that I'm finally married. And we next catch up with Akini, and she's talking to the producers. The producers ask how much more money Benjamin's going to have to pay, and Akini says there's no specific amount. And she says it's a mistake on his part because he could pay bride price for the rest of his life. Akini, if you're married, then you and Benjamin are one. So any mistake is a mistake for both of you. And if you know now it's such a mistake, why did you not pipe up when Baba Akini brought you in to help Benjamin negotiate the price? He'll be paying for the rest of his life. Even Baba Akini said, if you are still going to pay in the days to come, not every day to come. Oh God, I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to see Akini and Fidel on a Lifetime movie sometime soon. And they'll both be pondering on the potential whereabouts of Benjamin because, strangely, he's disappeared. Benjamin, watch your back. And we catch up with them again the next morning, and Benjamin says he's very happy and he believes they're going to have a very happy life together. Benjamin asks Akini, are you happy? Akini seems somewhat less than happy, and she sort of looked and said, well. And Ben asks her about the cookie jar. Oh, cringe. Akini tells us all that they consummated the marriage, and at this point she seems quite shy. And then the plot thickens. Benjamin tells Akini that he spoke to her dad about how much more he needed to pay, and surprise, surprise, her dad was less than clear. In fact, he said he got no answer. And she tells him, Benjamin, you need to ask him. And I have to say, Akini did tell him to negotiate. And Benjamin, you should have done a little better than you did. I know that you were worried, I know that you were scared, I know that you were a fish out of water, but you should have actually confirmed a price with him so that you knew when the end of this payment is going to be. Akini tells us, if my parents are happy with the price, then I'm happy. If they are not, then I'm not. So as we see, once again, Akini's allegiance is to her family and not to Benjamin. Now, I'm not saying that you should have to choose between one or the other, but if I myself were in this situation, I think I'd be saying, I want to make sure it's an affordable amount for Ben, but I also want to ensure that my parents have enough to live on, and that their recompense for my education and for the money that they've spent on me thus far. Try and get a solution where everybody's happy. Although Baba Ebird always says this, never ever compromise, at least that way one of you is happy. Akini tells Benjamin, you are not prepared for this negotiation, so it's your fault. And I tell Akini, although she's partially right, it's also your fault because you discombobulated Ben so much in the days leading up to this bride price ceremony, and then telling him you'll be immediately married afterwards, that anybody's brain would be frazzled. You've given him so little information and so much wrong information that he didn't know if he was coming or going. And then we catch up with them on their final evening, and they're in a restaurant. They plan to get a lovely meal together. Luckily for Benjamin, Akini seems to just have an orange juice. Akini asks Ben, do all your family know you're married? And Ben tells her no. I think it's the best thing that I tell them face to face. But she's very worried. She says, how can you get married and not tell your family? Well, Akini, how could you know that you were getting married and only tell Ben 1 or 2 days before the bride price ceremony? Why didn't you tell Ben so Ben could tell his family in good time? Most of this is your fault. And she asks him again and again, have you told your friends? Have you told your family? It's a no to both. And she tells us she's told everybody, even her frenemies. When did you tell everyone, Akini? Did everyone know before or after Ben? I think they all realised that you were going to be married at the conclusion of the bride price ceremony, way before Ben did. And when the waiter brings over the food, Akini's in a full strop. She asks him, can we pack the food to go? And she wants to leave. Benjamin's instantly worried and he tells us he's going home and Akini is angry with him. And that's where the story ends. Next week we can see that she's crying at the airport, and then we see a little excerpt from the tell-all, and it looks like it's going to be absolutely explosive because Akini is saying Benjamin's not an alpha male. Akini, that was pretty obvious from the jump, and if it's a big problem for you, then you shouldn't have married him. But I'll say one thing for Ben, he's managed in one night to do what Tim hasn't managed in 2 whole weeks. And that's about the end of part 1. So guys, tell me what you think. Will Benjamin and Akini last? And And do you think Akinyi has got any respect for Ben whatsoever? Something just tells me she hasn't. And how long do you think it's going to take Zied to forgive Rebecca? And how long do you think it's going to take Rebecca to get divorced? Anyone that's got divorced before, please let me know the process in the United States, because I would like to try and find out how long Zied's going to have to wait around for Rebecca. Thank you guys for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to like and to share my videos on your social media. Thank you so much again for all of your support. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.